Welcome to week 2 of Pantry Challenge. My name's Taylor and this is the Birds and the Bees Homestead, and I'm participating in a pantry challenge where I do not go to the grocery store in the month of January with a stretch goal of making it until Valentine's Day. I just wrapped up week 2 and you will see that this was a much more challenging week. This is my first full week of Pantry Challenge. You'll see I'm quickly learning what ingredients we are not well stocked up on. I also did not use my calendar like I had planned to meal plan, which ended up making it pretty challenging at the end of a work day or when we're tired trying to scramble to put together something for dinner when we didn't take the time to take something out of the freezer. So you'll see that we have a lot of really quick and easy meals this week. The kitchen was also a bit chaotic because we had a small construction project, swapping out our old fridge for a new to us fridge. So at one point we had a refrigerator in the middle of the kitchen, which doesn't make it enjoyable to be in the kitchen cooking, dirtying dishes, cleaning dishes. So those are typically days that we would want to order some food. So I'm really proud of us for getting through the chaotic mess of a kitchen, cooking some simple meals, and not having to spend money ordering takeout. I forgot to film what we had for supper on Sunday, but Jeff made a really delicious fried rice with leftover ribs. I'm also enjoying those leftovers for lunch. I've also been enjoying snacking on that corn dip that I made for New Year's. Okay, we're doing homemade pizzas tonight. I've got some deer sausage, hot Italian sausage from last year's deer that we're going to cook up. I had this pizza sauce already prepped and in the freezer, so I'm just defrosting that right now. Made some homemade dough. We'll put some hot peppers, mozzarella cheese, onion. Oh, we're getting steamed up. And I made enough of this dough to make a deep dish pizza and some garlic fingers, and I did a whole bunch of this garlic butter and stuck them in these pucks in the freezer. So one little puck of garlic butter should be the perfect amount, I'm hoping, for garlic fingers for tonight. I always forget that garlic fingers is an East Coast Canadian dish, and it's just pizza dough covered in garlic oil or garlic butter, covered in cheese and herbs, and we dip it in a really sweet white sauce called ginger sauce. We just swapped out our old fridge for a new to us hand-me-down fridge, and when I was transferring things from our old freezer to our new one, I found some meatballs in spaghetti sauce, so I wanted a really quick and easy dinner, so I just heated that up and cooked some spaghetti noodles. Wednesday we did quick and easy tacos with some beef, a can of homemade refried beans, sour cream, taco seasoning, some hot peppers, and some of my homemade salsa and hot sauce. So tonight's dinner is going to be a really easy one, but really delicious because I just made a huge batch of homemade English muffins. I've made English muffins a handful of times, but this is a new recipe to me and they turned out so much better. So when I told Jeff that I made these, he said, great, we're having Egg McMuffins for dinner. So I've got the English muffins. I've got some farm fresh eggs from the girls. I think I showed you in my pantry tour that we have a bunch of this breakfast sausage already cooked and prepped. One thing I did not notice until today is that we don't have any bacon in this house. Jeff asked if we wanted to have breakfast sandwiches with sausage or bacon, and I realized we don't have any bacon. So we'll see if we make it through the month of January without spending a little bit of my $25 budget to get bacon, because that's a long time to go without having bacon in the house. Finally, we have our kitchen refrigerator swapped out for a new to us hand-me-down fridge. And so I was able to take that big basket of freezer goodies that I had no idea what was in that basket because I couldn't keep it organized. And I was able to organize that in our new fridge freezer. And we found some hash browns. So in the air fryer, I just have 3 hash browns and 3 sausage patties. I'm gonna fry up some eggs. I did not show you this in my fridge, freezer, pantry tour, but we like to keep bacon grease on hand whenever we cook bacon. I prefer to cook it in the oven actually, in tin foil. So once the bacon's done, I will take that tin foil and pour it into a jar and we cook with this because it's like free fat. I don't have to go out and buy butter to cook my eggs in. I'm gonna cook my eggs in bacon fat. We'll cook chicken in it. I've cooked pancakes cooked in bacon fat. So anyway, I didn't show you that in my pantry tour, but that's what I'm gonna be cooking my eggs in for my Egg McMuffins. We have family dinner tomorrow at Jeff's parents' house, and if you've seen my intro to Pantry Challenge video, you may remember that I was a little concerned that we often order takeout at family dinner and that I planned on offering to cook and bring something. Well, Luckily, I don't have to cook dinner, and we're not getting takeout. We're going to be having salads and sandwiches, so I offered to bring a dessert. I thought that this would be a great opportunity to use up some of that canned apple pie filling because I have yet to pop open one of those jars and I'm really excited to enjoy it. So I pulled 2 jars of that. I thought that that would probably fill this casserole dish. So I'll put the apple pie filling and put an apple crumble topping. I thought about making apple pie, but I figured that the crumble topping would be a bit easier. I just pulled my recipe book. I absolutely love this recipe book because I often will print out a recipe. I am a recipe printer. I do not like to follow a recipe on my phone because I am a messy cook. My hands are usually dirty. So I like to have the instructions right in front of me and not have to like swipe or scroll. So what I want to look for now is my apple crumble recipe. I don't have to make any of the apple pie filling. I just need the crumble topping recipe. I did not even realize that this is a Martha Stewart recipe, and I will link the recipe down below. I've made this apple crisp for many, many years. It is so, so good. Okay, so all we need is flour, brown sugar, salt, sugar, and butter. So let me just mix that all together. Okay, I think this is probably perfect. You can see if I like squeeze it together, it stays pretty clumpy. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside and we'll assemble the apple crisp later, but for now I wanna get going on dinner. These muffins look so good. This is the first time I've tried this recipe and I'm already super impressed, so. Here's my crumb shot. This is a sourdough thing apparently I've learned is you have to show your crumb shot. And I'm really proud of these muffins. Let me get these toasted up. I may or may not have just sliced my thumb trying to cut those English muffins. Jeff got me this really nice new bread knife for Christmas, which is clearly very, very sharp. He's fetching me a Band-Aid. Thank you to Jeff for taking over cooking dinner while I was injured. He's better at making breakfast than I am anyway, so this is probably for the best. Okay, supper was delicious. I am finally all bandaged up from a little incident with cutting English muffins. I am gonna try to cut the rest of the English muffins. What I would like to do is cut them up and throw them in the freezer just because I just made them today, so they are as soft and fresh as they possibly could be. I'd rather put them in the freezer at their peak deliciousness so that when we pull them out of the freezer and make something with it, they'll be way better than if I leave them in my cupboard for a couple of days and they get a little bit stale. But when we pull them out of the freezer frozen, it's so much easier if they're already cut that we can just throw them in the toaster. I've learned that from experience. So I'm hoping I can cut the rest of these muffins without injuring myself again. Okay, here's a better crumb shot because I was a little bit injured last time. So good. Okay, now I'm gonna throw together the apple crumble for tomorrow's dinner. This is so awesome to have such an easy dessert that I can bring. It didn't take me long at all to put together that crumble topping, and all I'm doing right now is popping open 2 jars. Okay, I think that those 2 jars is the perfect amount to fill this casserole dish. These are apples that we picked when we went apple picking this fall. I think we're a ways away from getting apples on our apple trees that I planted on our property, but I can't wait to the day that I am able to put away a whole bunch of apples that I grew myself on this homestead. But for now, I will enjoy the apples that I picked in the fall. I am gonna taste test this. I do believe I tasted this filling when I canned this up, but I'm interested to see. It's been a couple of months, so I just want to taste it and see. This is delicious. It'll be even more delicious when it is baked up with that crumble topping. So let me get that crumble topping on. I'm hoping to get some good feedback tomorrow from people, and then this will probably become an annual preservation project. I go apple picking every fall, and I have always processed all of the apples into, well, I'll eat as many fresh as I can, but you can only eat so many fresh apples. What I used to do was process them all up into apple crumble filling and stick it in the freezer. This is the first time I've ever canned it. This was a water bath canning recipe, so you don't even need like a fancy pressure canner in order to make this. You just boil it in water. I did, however, need one ingredient that I don't traditionally have in my house, and I think it's called clear gel, and it is a substitute for cornstarch because cornstarch is not food safe for canning, but clear gel is. So you could buy the clear gel, can it up, and have it ready to go in a pie, or you can can it up without it, and when you go to use it in a pie, you might just need to add a thickener like cornstarch. I also think this would be really delicious served with some ice cream. I do not have ice cream in my house, and because we're in Pantry Challenge, I cannot go to the store to buy ice cream, but I think my in-laws have ice cream in their house at all times. So we're gonna count on that so that we'll be able to serve some ice cream with this crumble. If not, I do have some whipped cream that I can bring to serve with this just in case. But this is prepped and ready to go. I'm not gonna bake this tonight. I'm gonna bring it as is, and when I get to their house for dinner, we'll stick it in the oven, enjoy our dinner, and then by the time we're done and ready for dessert, this should be nice and crispy on the top and bubbly and delicious. So I am grateful for my prior self for the effort that I put into putting up such a quick and easy dessert. I mentioned in an earlier video that I was struggling with the timing of my sourdough. I was able to revive my sourdough starter. I can insert a little picture of how happy and bubbly my starter was, which I'm very proud of. It took me a couple of days of feeding and discarding in order to bring it back to life. But I was able to time my sourdough English muffins, and I am so happy with how these turned out. I will definitely be making these again. Next time, I'm going to have to try to tackle a traditional sourdough rustic loaf of bread and see if I can figure out the timing with my schedule of when I need to start feeding this, doing my stretch and folds, all the things. But when I posted my starter on my Instagram story, a coworker reached out to me and said that they've been thinking about starting sourdough. So before I go to bed or maybe early in the morning, I am going to pour some of this into a new jar, give them both a good feed, and it will be ready for me to bring into work tomorrow so I can share this with my coworker. But after that, I'm gonna call it a night because I'm a little bit wiped. So today's Saturday. Last night we went over to Jeff's parents for family dinner, and I brought that apple crumble, which turned out really delicious. So I'm really glad I canned up all those apples in the fall. I'll probably do that every year. And we had ham sliders. There was other kinds of sandwiches. We had potato salad, pasta salad, Caesar salad. They ended up having this big container of spring mix left over, and Jeff's mom said she wasn't gonna go through it all. She kept some and then sent this home with us, so didn't even have to go to the grocery store to get some fresh vegetables in the house. So I think we're gonna have this for dinner. If you remember, we drove my parents to the airport last weekend because they're going south for the winter, which means we got to, I wanna say we raided their house. We haven't really raided their house yet. We just picked up a couple of things. They had these 3 pork chops that they weren't going to be able to eat, so I grabbed those from them and stuck them in my freezer. So I think I'll see if Jeff will barbecue tonight. I think some fresh vegetables, some barbecue. It's been crappy and cold weather, and it's pretty mild this weekend, so I think it would be nice to have some barbecue. And this is my outfit. I guess I haven't addressed that yet. I'm in the middle of a painting project. I've been working for a couple of hours, and all I did was put silicone around all of the trim, and I'm not really ready to take a break because I still need to spackle any holes in the wall. So I want to get that spackling done because then when I go to take a break, all the spackling and silicone can dry. Like I said, it's 11 o'clock. All I've had today is coffee. This is my first sip of water, and I'm starting to get dizzy because I'm just a girl. So I think I'm just gonna make myself a smoothie so I can sip on that while I finish the spackling so I don't pass out. So I make smoothies all the time. I'm on ADHD medication, which is an appetite suppressor, so I'm not a big breakfast eater. So I really try to drink some calories so that I get some nutrients in my body before lunchtime. So I'll show you what I like to put in my smoothie, but I am realizing that I am not very well stocked on smoothie supplies like I normally am in my smoothie. So I like to use almond milk, and I'm out. I buy that at Costco. Usually I have a huge stockpile in my cupboards. For some reason, I did not notice that we were out. So we're gonna improvise. I'll show you what else I like to put in my smoothies though. Mango is probably my favorite. This is all that I have left. I did end up getting some more that I'm gonna run through the freeze dryer, but part of Pantry Challenge is I'm allowing myself to buy groceries for the freeze dryer, but I'm just gonna use through what I have. I do have some strawberries and bananas that I can make smoothies with, so we'll use that. I'll probably just use the rest of these, honestly. I like to prep a really big container of smoothie and I'll put it in some jars in the fridge, so over the next couple days I don't have to dirty my blender again. I'll have probably 3 smoothies ready to go. And then normally I would add almond milk. I don't have that. But what I did find was, this is pineapple juice that I have left over from last time I made kombucha. So I think I'll put pineapple juice in just water. And then I used to buy these huge containers of protein powder at Costco. It's just like vanilla whey protein powder. And this is all that I have left of it. But I wanted to show you, I actually ran some whey from last time I made yogurt through the freeze dryer. And I feel like I made my own protein powder. If you look side by side, it looks very similar. I don't know. I think this is a really exciting thing to have. I think I do need to label this though. I can tell the difference between my Costco whey and this one. It's just like, it's a lot shinier. But I had this sitting next to this container and this one got shoved to the back. So when I went to make my smoothie, or at least show you what I was gonna put in my smoothie, I accidentally grabbed this container. And this is turkey broth. Hopefully if I opened this up and smelled it, I would have realized, but I almost just made myself a turkey broth smoothie. But how cool. Just want to update you on that exciting freeze dryer project. Let me just put together this smoothie. Another thing that I goofed up for Pantry Challenge, I have a big bag of milk that I was hoping to make into homemade yogurt. All you need to make yogurt is a little bit of Greek yogurt that has active live cultures in it, and then milk. So I'll just keep a little bit of this, make it up with my milk. So that's what I was planning on doing when we ran out of this yogurt, but I waited too long. I opened this up to use it the other day, and it is rank. It stinks. It is definitely bad. I am not gonna be able to, 1, eat this, or 2, use any of it to make another batch of yogurt. And I don't have any other yogurt in my house that I can make another batch of yogurt with. I was complaining to my sister about this, and I think she actually picked up a container of yogurt for herself, and I asked her if it had those live cultures, and it was plain Greek yogurt, and it sounds like it is. So she's going to share with me maybe a couple tablespoons of that yogurt so that I can make my own and not have to go to the grocery store and buy yogurt. So I'm thankful to her, but I don't have that yet, so I'm not gonna be able to add yogurt to my smoothie. So we'll see how this turns out. Just added some water. I will probably have to add some more, but we'll start with this much. Okay, so now I've got 2 more smoothies that I can throw in the fridge. This painting project is probably gonna take me all weekend, so I'm glad that I won't have to wait until 11 o'clock tomorrow to get some calories in my body. So I need to get back to spackling. I'm going to enjoy this smoothie while I do that. Last thing I want to show you though, I was showing you some of the stuff that I got from my parents' house and mother-in-law's. I still want to go over to my parents' house because I suspect they've got some things in their fridge and cupboards that just aren't gonna last until they get back. Here's a couple things that we found already. My sister found these Oreos. She's gluten-free, so she won't be enjoying them, but she said she thinks they're probably not stale. There's not that many, but I love Oreos. I don't buy them very often, so I will make sure to enjoy those so long as they are not stale. And then 3 partial loaves of bread. I can't remember last time I bought bread from the store. Right now I don't have any homemade bread in the house. I've got English muffins, bagels, tortillas, but no bread, so I'll try to use through that bread, but I might end up sticking a couple of them in the freezer just because we don't eat sliced bread all that often. But now I'm excited to go over to their house and see what else they have. So anyway, I am yapping enough and putting off spackling long enough, so I gotta go back and get to it. Once I finished spackling, I enjoyed a breakfast wrap while I waited for that to dry. My sister was so generous to offer to help me paint my bathroom. So while she's painting my bathroom wall, I'm gonna take a break and enjoy some leftover apple crumble from Friday night. Jeff did end up barbecuing those pork chops, and we found some garden potatoes that need to be used up that were not on my radar. So that was a really delicious dinner to end a long and busy day. My biggest takeaway from week 2 is to keep a closer eye on my Greek yogurt. That was really disappointing. I hate food waste. Luckily, there wasn't much left that I had to throw away. I should be able to get a little bit more yogurt from my sister, so I can make a whole new batch that should last me the next month. I think I'll start adding a calendar reminder for when my Greek yogurt should last me until, at which point I'll have to make a new batch before it goes bad. I also kind of forgot that I had those potatoes from my garden. I don't have much left. This is what I have left to use up, and this was not in my pantry tour because it was shoved in that corner cabinet that is absolutely chaotic. I've got bulk food storage there, flour, sugar, oils. So I think that's why I forgot about these. This bag is full to here. They're not very big, and they're kind of a pain to cook with because they do need to be scrubbed. They're pretty dirty. So I think that's why we haven't been using through them, is because they're small, they need to be scrubbed and probably peeled. But I'll make it a priority to go through those. And then I have a different kind here. I think I did fingerling and just like a yellow or white potato. So that was a good discovery. Need to use through that in the next couple weeks. One thing you didn't see is I asked Jeff to barbecue those pork chops. And when he started, we realized we don't have any barbecue sauce. Luckily, we found some honey garlic sauce that we were able to use instead, and that turned out really delicious. But I'll have to add barbecue sauce to my grocery list. I should keep a running grocery list of all the things that I discovered that we run out of. I did run out of almond milk for smoothies, which shouldn't be a big deal. I can just use juice or water or whey or regular milk, but I will add that to my grocery list. I did discover that we're out of bacon, so we'll see if we make it through the month without bacon. I do have bacon grease, so we will have bacon flavor in a lot of our cooking, but that's a long time to go without bacon. We'll see how we make it out. I will add that to the list as well. But we're certainly not going hungry. I'd say we're doing really well so far. We are well stocked up enough that we were able to enjoy a wide variety of some really delicious dinners this week. I'm sure as the weeks go on, I will run out of more items, discover things that we just don't have, and just face more challenges, but that's all part of Pantry Challenge, is dealing with those obstacles. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've been following along on Pantry Challenge so far. If not, I will leave a link to my playlist. I will see you soon to see how we make out for week 3.